He who thinks he is leading and has no one following him is not taking a walk. Now, take it again. He who thinks he is leading and has no one following him is only taking a walk. Yes, get it. He who is leading, or who thinks that he is leading and has no one following him, is just taking a walk. Then, if there is character, ugliness becomes beauty. If there is none, beauty becomes ugliness. Okay, take it again. If there is character, ugliness becomes beauty. And if there is none, then beauty becomes ugliness. Good morning and welcome to the 67th episode of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio. Okay, good afternoon to listeners of African Cocktail in the 4 countries that are currently suffering under the weight of the Ebola disease. I'm talking about Nigeria, Guinea-Conakry, Liberia, and of course Sierra Leone. We stay with you because we love you. Our hearts are with you. So this episode of African Cocktail is dedicated to all of you out there. And whenever you get this voice at this hour on Wednesday, which we are exceptionally doing it on a Thursday, then you are listening to African Cocktail. Welcome to the 14th episode of your darling show for phase 2 of 2014, which is of course the 67th episode since we started the show in May of 2013. Just like we say all the time, African Cocktail is that party on radio that brings you all the niceties of the beautiful African continent. So how much of Africa do you know? How much of Africa do you eat? How much of Africa do you wear? How much of African entertainment news do you get to savor? And most important, how much of African music do you get to dance to, listen to? These are the kind of questions we do well to answer just on African Cocktail. African Cocktail is a mixture of the best African values you can ever think of. And in this 67th episode of the show, the 69th General Assembly of the United Nations that is ongoing in New York, here in the United States, focuses on global terrorism with particular concern on ISIS, but pays a deaf ear to Boko Haram. Questions: is Boko Haram not destructive enough to catch the UN attention? What can be done to lure the international community to come in full force? Our resource person Suleiman Koyate joins us in providing answers to these questions and more just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail, so don't go away. That a Cameroonian is featuring in a Nigerian movie is no longer news, but that a Cameroonian actress is making a breakthrough in Bollywood is big news. Her name is Sherilyn Queen. She is up and coming in Bollywood. Sherilyn is not only featuring but doing salient roles in Indian movies, in Indian and everything Indian. There are indications she is rising and making great strides. On how significant is this Cameroonian actress and her strides in Bollywood to her country of birth is what we shall be looking into in this episode of African Cocktail. Our resource person Kenneth Ngamne, called him Ken Shalimonet, comments on this development just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail, so don't go away. Okay, she is an artist par excellence. She sings, she acts, she is a fine speaker. Addy Timany has carved her route and is pacing gradually to the apex of her art. The Belgium-based Cameroonian artist, who will be releasing her maiden album come November this year, joins us in this edition of African Cocktail to unveil her story. She is the main guest in this episode of the show. Then we shall also have the singular opportunity to listen to Uche Ogbodo, Nollywood actress, who will be speaking from Ibadan, Nigeria, live in this edition of African Cocktail. Our regular slots, the Belgium Report with Titus Banyo, Solomon Atta's South Connect, and the Central African Report with Ifana Kwala will be yours in this edition of African Cocktail. Meantime, I'm alone in this sumptuous 1110 studio of Africa Radio alone, but then I have a main guest who will be talking all the way from Belgium, Europe, precisely in the city of Antwerp. Her name is Addy Timany, an actress and of course a singer whom we now welcome to this edition of African Cocktail. So Addy, if you are listening to us, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Good morning, rather.
Yes, it's morning here. So how is it out there in the city of Antwerp?
I am doing fine and hope same for you and everyone listening.
Right. So tell us, how has it been in Belgium so far? I know you've been there for a couple of years.
Yes, it is going well. The challenges are the same everywhere around here, but we keep going. We keep trusting God for better days.
Right.
And we are grateful for how far He has brought us.
Definitely. And I also understand you are a Cameroonian living in the diaspora. From what part of Cameroon are you in the first place?
I am from Babungo.
Oh, Babungo, that is in the Kitunja division, right?
Yes, in the northwest province of Cameroon.
And so, what is your traditional delicacy from that part of Cameroon? What do you eat there?
We eat nai. Nai is pounded cocoyam and vuting, which is the cocoyam stem.
Right. And so, do you find time to eat that in Belgium?
To be honest with you, I have never eaten it since I got here.
And looks like you miss it bad. Real bad.
I miss it a whole lot. It's such a meal you need to eat personally. It's so nice.
Right. Well, we hope that eventually you have the opportunity of having a taste of that traditional delicacy of yours. And welcome to African Cocktail. We'll have you throughout this edition of the show.
Okay, thank you very much, Ernest.
Okay, my name is Ernest Kanjo, regular host of this show, asking you to sit back, relax, and of course enjoy every bit of what we shall be presenting to you this Thursday morning, Thursday, September the 25th, 2014, here on Africa Radio. 614-987-5097 and the number to dial to get in touch with us if you feel that you are inspired and you want your voice heard in this edition of this show. But then we can't begin without giving thanks to God the Father Almighty, who makes it possible for us to be here and present the show every week. So wherever you are listening to us at this moment, bow down your heads. Let's say thank you, God, for the moment. And Grace Konadu Ageman is going to join us in doing that in this beautiful Ghanaian gospel piece. Father, we praise your name, we glorify you, we adore you because you've been everything to us. Lord, we thank you for the precious gift of life. We appreciate your love and kindness. Father, it is not by our own that we are able to make things work. It is by your mighty power and grace. Thank you for the gift of talent which the people who contribute on this show are happily enjoying. Thank you for the inspiration. Bless our listeners and make contributors more ingenious as they take part in this fresh episode of African Cocktail. Father, we commit today's edition into your hands. Show us how to do it, and we will do it the way you want. Through your Son Jesus Christ we've prayed. Amen.
I know mommy will say so.
Beautiful piece there by Grace Konadu Agyeman, a Ghanaian gospel artist. I assume this is a new piece of gospel music, and we want to say thank you so much, Grace, for that very soul-searching gospel piece that has come to warm our hearts this day on African Cocktail, September the 25th, 2014. It is a Thursday, and we are exceptionally running African Cocktail today. Thank you so much for those of you who have just joined us. This is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. We're broadcasting from the city of Columbus. Lots and lots of exciting things coming up in this edition of the show. If everything goes as planned, we shall be having Sandra Fondufe, a Cameroonian actress and writer, who will be telling us about some of her most recent projects. We shall also be listening to a Nigerian actress, Uche Ogbodo. She lives in Nigeria. She will be calling us from that part of West Africa in this edition of African Cocktail, hopefully. Then we shall also have our various correspondents. Ifana Kuala will be talking from Douala at the banks of the river Vuri, that is in Central Africa. Then we shall be listening to Solomon Atta in Johannesburg, South Africa. Solomon is our correspondent from that end, and he will be doing the South Connect slot. But then we have a main guest in this episode of African Cocktail. Her name is Addy Timany. Addy will be talking to us throughout this edition of African Cocktail. But then we begin with music as usual, and I'm taking you down memory lane with some beautiful Makossa pieces. We're beginning with Jenny Gento, and this one titled De Brusaya.
This is Africa Radio, number one radio in Columbus, Ohio. Africa.
And for those of you just joining us, this is the 67th episode of African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Just right ahead, we shall be listening to our resource person number 2. His name is Suleiman Koyate, and we shall be looking into the 69th General Assembly of the United Nations that is ongoing in New York, and we shall try to see if that session has addressed some important issues that are touching our beautiful African continent, precisely Boko Haram. We know President Obama talked about Ebola, but then what about Boko Haram, which is also giving Africa sleepless nights? Well, we're going to talk about that when Suleiman Koyate joins us in the next couple of minutes in this edition of African Cocktail. Don't forget that we have lots and lots of exciting people who will be talking in this edition of the show. But then, listen to this one by Jenny Jen to enjoy it. Then we'll be right back.
This is Africa Radio.
Okay, like I said, all routes and all roads, yes, routes and roads have led to New York, where the world has kind of converged and it's discussing world politics, global politics, put it that way. We have over 120 leaders who are talking about the things that are affecting the world out there in New York, and it is happening in the 69th General Assembly of the United Nations. But then Africa has a big say. Africa is also on the agenda. How much of it are they discussing? I'm talking about Boko Haram is what we are going to find out when our resource person Suleiman Kouyaté joins us in this edition of African Cocktail at exactly 22 minutes past 10. We hear Suleiman is already on the line. Suleiman, bonjour.
Bonjour Ernest.
Comment ça va, Suleiman?
Ça va très bien.
Bon, Suleiman, vous êtes la personne ressource de cette émission et la 69e, l'Assemblée Générale des Nations Unies s'est s'ouvrir avant-hier avec plus de 120 leaders présents, parmi eux quelques-uns de l'Afrique. Le problème de l'insécurité qui menace le monde entier, causé par les terroristes, et la crise de la santé en Afrique de l'Ouest semble être les deux points majeurs sur l'agenda. D'abord, le problème de la sécurité, Suleiman. Le président Barack Obama a parlé de la coalition internationale pour la lutte contre ISIS, mais personne n'a mentionné Boko Haram qui menace l'Afrique. Est-ce que cela veut dire que le dossier Boko Haram n'intéresse plus cette leader du monde, Suleiman Kouyaté?
Bon, Ernest, je crois que tout d'abord, je vous remercie pour m'avoir donné l'opportunité d'intervenir et je suis vraiment, c'est une fierté pour moi d'intervenir à chaque fois dans cette émission. Bon, pour ce qui concerne la lutte contre le terrorisme, comme vous aviez à le dire, il ne doit pas avoir de partage parce que quelle que soit leur provenance, que ce soit en Afrique, que ce soit en Moyen-Orient, que ce soit dans les pays occidentaux, toutes sortes d'extrémisme, c'est l'ennemi du monde entier, c'est pas seulement l'ennemi d'un pays, d'une nation. Et Boko Haram fait partie de ces sectes-là, de ces extrémistes-là qui combattent la liberté, qui combattent la modernité, qui combattent la liberté d'expression et tout ça.
Oui.
Donc le fait de s'intéresser vraiment aux pays, aux extrémistes qui sont basés en Moyen-Orient et en Occident, sans s'intéresser vraiment à ceux qui sont en Afrique, je crois que c'est une erreur de frappe de la part des leaders des pays développés comme les États-Unis. Parce que Boko Haram, même s'ils ont des noms différents, Boko Haram, ISIS, Al-Qaïda ou même en Algérie, un Français a été exécuté hier. Ils n'ont pas les mêmes noms, mais c'est les mêmes objectifs. Ils travaillent ensemble, ils ont les mêmes objectifs. Donc, il doit avoir la même politique pour chaque groupuscule qui terrorise les gens. Donc, je comprends parfaitement que tous ces groupes doivent être frappés, tous ces groupes doivent être considérés comme ennemis du monde moderne. Donc, au lieu de s'attaquer à une partie, je comprends bien qu'il faudra s'attaquer à tout en même temps. Boko Haram, j'admets que Boko Haram, on les donne un peu des champs d'action, parce que la façon dont les Occidentaux sont en train de frapper en Syrie et à la frontière irakienne, si on avait fait la même chose au Nigeria, je crois qu'aujourd'hui on n'aurait plus parlé de Boko Haram.
Bon, concrètement, que peut être le rôle de la communauté internationale dans cette situation aggravante?
Bon, la communauté internationale, comme il le fait, en Irak par exemple, ils interviennent directement, ils fournissent des armes, ils donnent des moyens financiers pour aider les gens à les combattre. Peut-être en Afrique, s'ils ne veulent pas envoyer des militaires, des personnes ressources, ils peuvent équiper, entraîner et donner des fonds pour que ces groupes puissent être combattus. Je crois que c'est ça que la communauté internationale doit faire.
Bon, passons dans un autre dossier, Suleiman. Dans son discours, le secrétaire général de les Nations Unies a dit que nous avons besoin d'une réaction exceptionnelle de la communauté internationale, alors que la semaine passée, le Conseil de la sécurité des Nations Unies a demandé au gouvernement des pays abattus par cette crise de santé, je parle d'Ebola, à prendre l'avant dans la lutte. Pourtant, ces pays disent qu'ils n'ont pas assez de moyens nécessaires pour se combattre. Est-ce que tu penses que vraiment les Nations Unies doivent faire quelque chose, Suleiman?
Les Nations Unies doivent forcément faire quelque chose parce que Ebola, c'est pas un mal pour l'Afrique de l'Ouest seulement ou même pour toute l'Afrique, mais c'est un mal pour le monde entier. Si les Nations Unies ou l'OMS n'interviennent pas, vraiment n'investissent pas au fond pour éradiquer cette maladie dès maintenant, ça va se propager à travers le monde. Ça ne restera pas seulement en Afrique, parce que l'Afrique est ouverte au reste du monde. Nous sommes dans la période de globalisation. Donc on sait que le monde est devenu une petite planète, parce que les gens se déplacent, les marchandises se déplacent, tout se déplace rapidement. Donc combattre l'Ebola en Afrique, c'est pas seulement aider l'Afrique, c'est aider le monde entier. Donc c'est ça.
Ok, Suleiman, il me semble que les gens continuent à mourir en Afrique de l'Ouest. Est-ce qu'il y a l'espoir, vraiment?
Oui, les gens sont en train de mourir, mais je vais vous dire qu'il y a l'espoir. Il y a l'espoir parce que, comme je viens de le dire, la communauté internationale quand même est mobilisée. La communauté internationale est mobilisée. La communauté internationale connaît le danger. Mais ils doivent être mobilisés plus que maintenant. Ils doivent être mobilisés plus que ce qu'ils sont en train de faire. Donc c'est à cause de ça que nous lançons un autre appel à la communauté internationale. Sinon, il y a l'espoir. Si les pays, la Guinée, le Sierra Leone et le Libéria ne s'étaient pas organisés, alors là, cette maladie aurait pris le monde entier. Mais spécialement la Guinée qui a réussi à cadrer, à limiter les dégâts comparativement aux deux autres pays. Mais still, ils ont besoin des autres, des grandes puissances pour intervenir. Heureusement, les États-Unis ont envoyé déjà des militaires pour intervenir, pour aider dans la sous-région. Et la France aussi entend faire la même chose dans les jours qui suivent.
Seulement, on va certainement revenir sur cette actualité la semaine prochaine. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été avec nous ce matin.
Merci, Ernest. Bonne journée.
Bonne journée, Suleiman Koyate. That is our resource person number 2, who always comments on political issues. Suleiman is from Guinea-Conakry, and he is a holder of a degree in international relations at the Ohio State University. This is African Cocktail, the 67th episode, coming to you from African Cocktail. We shall also be listening to the CEO of Africa Radio, Nana Ampem, who will definitely have his own say on the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly currently going on in New York. But before he comes up, listen to music.
Tango songaneno Benjitala sese omilema Bende bola dutia Luna mwese o Jombe yanje jimeneno u Afrika Kasula wasedi Jede na bongo Mabola masu na isontane Fatu ende motango songaneno Benjitala sese umilema Bende bola dutia Luna mwese o Jombo yanje jimeneno
This is Africa Radio.
Katula wasedi Ndena bongo Bola masu na isontane.
Ok, lui c'est Ndedi Eyango, call him Prince Eyango. Il chantait comme ça partout. Une très très belle chanson sortie en 1989. Belle Makossa, nous sommes au Cameroun. Nous sommes toujours à l'Afrique centrale. avec des bonnes musiques. De la bonne musique, eh? Okay. Prince Yango, that beautiful one, is coming to you from Africa Radio, and the show is African Cocktail. Okay. Perhaps before we continue with Prince Yango, why not listen to this important message?
Have you received your prescription from your doctor yet? Good. Looking for a convenient pharmacy for all your medication and pharmaceutical needs? Well, Hope Pharmacy is the right place to go. Providing free medical counseling for all their customers, Hope Pharmacy also provides free prescription pickup and delivery, free vitamins with your prescription order, easy transfer of prescriptions, and Hope Pharmacy provides fast-track prescription service. No wait time. Hope Pharmacy accepts major insurance coverages. They're located on 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43231. Again, 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43231. The hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. If you need any more information, contact Hope Pharmacy at 614-426-4160. Again, 614-426-4160. Hope Pharmacy. Your health is our priority.
This is Africa Radio.
Meanwhile, lots and lots of efforts are still coming in to fight the Ebola disease. We want to say thank you so much and kudos to the Sierra Leonean Association of Artists and Musicians, SLAM, that has put up a very strong fight by publishing or making public a video where Ebola is described, and of course necessary measures to take to avert it kind of spelled out. Thank you so much, Gile Kebi Scholz and Wistina Tello and the rest of the guys in SLAM for that very beautiful message which has already gone viral. Thank you so much for that. We also want to say good morning to you, Franco Bongam. Franco is part of a concert that is organized called Concert for Ebola Relief, which is going to take place in Silver Spring come October the 3rd, 2014. Lots and lots of efforts going on to avert this crisis that has hit West Africa. We're waiting for Nana and Pem to call us. Then we shall be talking live in this edition of the show.
Des patrons, qui est le canton? Chacun se dit grand, qui est donc petit? Chacun arrive à son air et fait ce qu'il veut menace.
Alright, his name is Prince Yango in that beautiful one titled Part 2. Beautiful Makossa piece coming to you from Central Africa. Then, like I said, we have Nana Ampem, the CEO of Africa Radio, who is on the line, probably to share his own views on the ongoing 69th episode or 69th session of the United Nations currently going on in New York. Nana Ampem, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Ernest. How are you?
I'm alright, and you?
Very good.
So, Nana, for 2 days now, world leaders have been discussing world politics, but apparently it looks like there are not many African leaders who are present.
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to your listeners. If it's in the afternoon in their various places of abode, I will say good afternoon. And thanks for the opportunity to feature on your show. I will say it is great to hear that, world leaders come together to share ideas, since we are in a global village where action of one country kind of affect every other country, because we are connected to each other. So when there are this sort of meeting like the UN summit like this, it's really important, because that's where policymakers meet to decide what will be good for the world today. So I think it's a good thing. Coming to the next issue as to why many other African leaders couldn't attend, I would say African leaders on their own right now don't know what they are doing. I will take it from the point of the AU, the African Union.
Right.
You ask yourself, when they go to this summit, what do they do? And those things that they go and talk about, what policies have they implemented that has really helped the people in Africa? So when they're coming to this kind of summit, the UN summit, they don't even have any agenda that they actually coming to pursue. So that's another area. With the current summit going on, I think the major thing that they are focusing on Africa is about the climate, how Africa can produce its own food and feed its own people. Because as I speak to you now, majority of the food that Africans eat are imported, because we don't have any means to mechanize our way of producing. So when there's a drought or there's no rain, Africa is in trouble. There's no way we can use any mechanized way of agriculture to fight back the climate change that is affecting us. So if it's something that we really want to solve it, I believe African leaders will be committed to it and be part of this dialogue or discussion, and then learn from these developed countries who are practicing this sort of, modernized, mechanized way of, attacking the climate change that is affecting food production in their various countries. It's really pathetic that, African leaders are not committed to UN resolution or communicate that will come out of it.
Right. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about Boko Haram, which I discussed with the previous guest. But before then, let me ask you this layman's question. You just said that Africa is not mechanized enough to feed itself. Now, I'm going to give you a simple example. Ghana, for instance, is very rich in gold. Sierra Leone is very rich in diamond. Now, can't they transform or translate these natural resources into money, then get the machines and stop relying on the West? Why is it that they have the resources, the natural resources, yet they don't have the machines?
All right. It's a wonderful question, and thank you for that. This is what I would say. Even with these resources that you're talking about, the gold, diamond, it is even exported in its raw state. They don't put any value on it. They just get the gold from the ground in its raw state and they sell it out. Instead of turning this gold into bracelet, to rings, to whatever you want to do and sell it, we tend sending it out raw, and then they change it, they add value to it into rings, into bracelet, into belts, into other things, and then they sell it back to us, double price. So it's not like we can't sell our gold, but even the gold we sell in the raw state. So when I'm talking about this mechanized way of agriculture, because they're tackling climate and then food shortages in Africa, that's why but in all our productions are always in raw state, and we don't add any value. We cut the timber and we export the whole log outside.
We shall find time to come back to that. Let us run off with Boko Haram. I was telling Suleiman Koyate that President Barack Obama mentioned ISIS, yet nobody is talking about Boko Haram anymore. And we know what Boko Haram is causing Africa. What can you say about that, Nana Ampem?
Well, what I would say is, when you do not blow your own trumpet, nobody will blow it for you, right? This Boko Haram thing started, they killed thousands of people, kidnapping people. But I ask you this question: how is the president of Nigeria taking it himself? Seems like he doesn't care. The Boko Haram people are in Nigeria. They are not even outside. They are in the country. Not all over the country. They are standing part of the country. So you want to tell me, if these people were Cameroonians and they are invading the part of Nigeria, would Jonathan sit down and say Cameroonians should come and kill my people and go free, or attack them with the military or any other force?
$1 million question.
People, if your own people are turning against you, what do you have to do? So it then gives me the impression that possibly he is part of it. But if he's not part of it, he will fed them out.
Thank you so much. That's all we had time for. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, his name is Nana Ampem. Very political. I like him. And do have a fantastic rest of the day, Nana. This is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's listen to some music. Then we brace to go to Antwerp and receive our main guest. Lui, c'est un fils du Mongo. Mongo se trouve dans la région littorale. Nous sommes au Cameroun. Avec celui-là qui s'appelle tout simplement Maurice Ndjoume. In that beautiful one titled Maimouna. And it's coming to you from African Cocktail. Then the station is Africa Radio. We do the 67th episode of your darling midweek show. Okay, let's go to Antwerp and receive our main guest. Angie, once again, you're welcome to African Cocktail.
Thank you, Ernest Kanjo.
So, some of us know you perhaps, but then there are others who are coming across this person for the very first time. Could you just help them to know who Addy Timany is?
Yes. Addy Timany is a gospel artist. She's an actress. She's from Bamenda. She's from Cameroon. She's based in Belgium.
Right.
Basically.
So, could you just tell us about your educational background briefly?
Yes. I did my primary school in Douala at Faith Bilingual School. Then I went to Baptist High School, Boya, where I did my secondary education. Then I went to CPC Bali. I did my high school there. And then I went to University of Yaoundé, where I studied English and lettres moderne anglais.
Right.
And then after some time, I moved to Europe.
Right. What caught my attention is CPC Bali, which is one of the most renowned denominational secondary and high schools in Cameroon. How was life when you were in CPC?
Wow. Life in Bali was so much fun. I really miss those days, you know.
Right.
Yeah, we were there in school, and you know how it is in the boarding school. You are there, and sometimes when the younger ones come, you have this upper hand over them, and all of those stories, you know, we went through the same thing when I was in secondary school in Baptist High School, Boya.
Right.
Sometimes you feel like you're being bullied by the senior students and all of that. It was so much fun, you know. I miss those days in CPC Valley, really, and in Baptist.
I can imagine. I also understand that there is a lot of singing going on in denominational secondary schools, especially in English-speaking Cameroon. Did you sing in the choir, for instance? And if you did, is it where you got your musical or your background in music?
Yes, definitely. That is where I got my background in music. I started singing when I was in Form 1. We had a small special number group in Baptist High School, Boya. We would go on stage, like 3 of us, you know how young. We would sing with all the courage and everything. Then I joined the choir in CPC Valley, and then I belonged to a gospel group. In school, we were like 6 girls. Called Zenith Sisters. So we used to have like special numbers, and we would sing at functions, even in Bali Town. They would invite us to sing. And then, basically that was where I started singing. Then in Douala, I joined a professional music group, a choir called Douala Inter Choir.
Right.
So we used to have concerts at Cinema Loburi once every year called Pac Chanté. I was the lead singer too in that group. And then I joined a gospel band, Simon Bisong and Family.
Right.
Yeah, we used to sing at Cinema Eden. We used to have concerts there. We would sing at Nigerian Independence Day in Bafoussam. We even featured as guest artists on stage when Two Face came to Cameroon in 2006.
That's great. Addy, there is a lot of experience, yet you haven't been in the market yet as a gospel artist. I understand you'll be releasing your maiden album in November. Why did it take so much time?
Yeah, Ernest, God's time is the best. What I used to do before was, sing in groups and all of those things. So, but then it came to a point where I needed to go solo. So I needed to be heard. I needed to step up my game. So that is why I decided to come up with Turning the Corner, the gospel album, Turning the Corner.
So within these years, you've been composing songs?
Yes, I have been composing a lot of songs. I have a lot of songs that I have written. I also sang in Belgium. I used to sing in my local choir. I belong to a group, global gospel group, that is 3Gs. I also sang as a part of the mass choir when Benny Hinn came to Belgium.
Right.
At the Antwerp Sports Palace, so I was part of that. I've been busy doing quite some things, and I just thought this was the right time to come up with my solo album.
Right. And so you've been working on this solo album for the past couple of months, I guess. How is it going to look like? How many songs are you going to have in this album?
I have 7 tracks on the album.
7 tracks? Right.
Yes.
Could we just talk about 2 or 3 of the tracks in the album and what you are trying to pass across as message?
Okay. I'll talk about Where Would I Be is one of the tracks. Where Would I Be is just looking at the past, looking at how far God has brought me,
right.
And a lot of other people out there. I have personally been through a lot of things that have caused me a wave of emotions, so I have used all of those things to, come up with this song. When I look at where I used to be way back, and I look at where God has brought me and where He's taking me to, I only marvel at, the glory of God. That is why I came up with Where Would I Be if the Lord was not on my side? Where would I be? What story would I have today? So, and then there's another one. The Lord is my strength.
Okay.
Lord is my strength simply says, basically you have to leave the name of the Lord higher because He is your strength. Whatever situation you're going through, the Lord is your strength. It doesn't matter. Pick your strength from the Lord and just lift His name higher everywhere, every day, every time.
Right. And so, tell us how the process of putting all of these together went. Who did you work with?
Yes, I after writing the songs and arranging everything, I went to Paris. I worked with Adolphe Kumbaboy.
Right.
He has K-Boy Music Studio in Paris. So I got there, we did the recording, and then Kodo Sitoni featured in one of the songs which has the Bikutsi rhythm. Yeah, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. I did it in a Bikutsi version, so he was interested and he wanted to be part of it.
That's impressive.
We worked together.
Right.
And then the backup artists too are some artists based in France, so they helped me to do the backup as well.
Okay. And so, are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're good to go. Anytime from now.
Okay. That will be interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Addy Timany. We'll be back with you, your main guest in this edition of African Cocktail.
You're welcome, Ernest.
This is Africa Radio. This is Africa Radio. Quality Auto Services. Joe Boy, Judging on Chroma Stressy, and Judging Sano, Sakana problema. For Quality Auto Services. Would the answer with the kind of Bemao? Uni how crab. Say oil change, tune ups, engine repairs and replacement, and tire changes. Or better than cast your car bearings onto Quality Auto Services. Now best smiling. Quality Auto Services. Our 5599 Westerville Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081. Phone number 614-446-0773. Obie and upon on Crow, a compliment you on so 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Quality Auto Services. Oh, best smile.
Like a child.
Vous qui voulez partir vraiment un seul conseil. Restez. Vous qui veut partir vraiment un seul conseil.
Le retour de Makassi. Makassi is a Cameroonian jar which was propelled in the days by the legendary Sanfan Thomas. But then Sanfan Thomas trains a couple of guys who are also doing the Makassi the right way. And this one is Le Cameroon Atu by Ken Godefroy. Ken Godefroy is one of the guys who worked quite a great deal with Sanfan Thomas in Studio Makassi in Douala. And of course, he too has been on the rails for the past couple of years. For over 20 years, Ken Godfrey has a lot of musical experience, and he comes back today with this one titled Le Cameroon Atu. Beautiful music coming to you from Africa Radio. The show is African Cocktail with Ernest Kanjo. This is Thursday, September the 25th, 2014. Just right ahead, we shall be going to Minnesota, where resource person number one, Ken Shalimonet, will be with us.
nous rester, construisons ensemble notre pays. Toi qui es parti il y a longtemps, si tu n'as pas de boulot là-bas, il faut rentrer. Ton pays t'attend, l'Afrique t'attend. Toi qui es parti là-bas il y a 10 ans, si tu n'as pas de papier là-bas, il faut rentrer.
And so what Ken Godfrey is saying in this beautiful piece is that Cameroon has everything. You will find everything in Cameroon. And of course, going by that, I want to say Cameroon has every talent you can think of. Singers, artists, actors, models, what have you. And her name is Sherilyn Queen. She is a Cameroonian actress who has been making great strides in Bollywood. Okay, we're going to find out more about her just right ahead. And we have our resource person Kenneth Ngamne, who has joined us today to talk about this Cameroonian who is making a breakthrough in Bollywood. We are not going into the depth of it anywhere, but we just want to discuss the fact that a Cameroonian can make a breakthrough in a film industry which is not very common, which is not easily penetrated like Hollywood and even Nollywood. Kenneth Ngamne, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ernest, and it's always a pleasure being on the show as a resource person.
Right. So you're welcome, Ken Shali Monet. And if I'm bringing you to the show today, it is because something caught my attention in one of our, background studies and research on Cameroonian actors. We discovered Sherilyn Queen. Sherilyn Queen is a Cameroonian actress who is making a breakthrough in Bollywood. Like I said in the intro of this show, that a Cameroonian should feature and star in Nigerian movies is no longer news. It's been happening. But that a Cameroonian should be found in Indian films doing it the big way, I think is news, Kenneth.
It's definitely news, Ernest. Extremely, it's definitely news. And you don't know how extremely happy and proud that this is happening to our own Cameroonian actress. And I'm going to begin my comments today with this quote per her success. I will say that beginnings are apt to be shadowy. When we look at our new beginnings gladly, it becomes very special to the growth that we are all ready for.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that a first step is many steps to success. And what this lady has done, words cannot express, because she has gone extremely beyond the boundaries. Because when I look about people like her today, when I'm thinking of even people like the Alphonse Denis, who put our name out there in terms of movie industry in years back, and then I see the boundaries that she has transcended to get involved into the Indian movie. The reason why I'm trying to insist to the Indian movie is because we know how culturally inclined these people are.
Exactly.
And how they believe so much in their cultures and themselves.
Right.
And this lady did not only get into this movie, she is able to speak Indian in this comedy. I can't tell you, Mr. Ernest Kanjo, I can't tell you the amount of joy that I have in me. I'm talking to you right now, I'm having goosebumps on my body because of the success. Sherilyn Queen. And the way she has put Cameroon in the limelight. All I will say is that, my dear sister, keep it on. Keep on riding. And keep making these people to believe in us and trust us. And we know that you are opening the way for many to follow.
Now, Kenneth, prior to this discovery, could you have imagined that a Cameroonian would get into Bollywood and make it big, like she's doing?
I couldn't have ever imagined. I couldn't have ever imagined penning even the way that the Cameroon film industry is struggling right now to grow. Coming from Cameroon, and with the fact that we are still struggling to build our Cameroon film industry, this is an extremely good credit, and I believe that other movie industries and other countries, other continents, they will start having belief in us, in our arts and in our talents. And I will tell you that this lady, she has really paved the way for us, and there are better things ahead for us.
Now, do you think this is going to kind of work like an inspiration to the growing film industry in Cameroon?
Yes, it would be a very wonderful inspiration. because already our Cameroonian actors and actresses, producers and DOPs, they are already taking it with a warm heart. I transferred, they got the information and everything. They have gone online, they have checked the comedy, they love it, they were all laughing, and I've been watching it time and time again. And the impact that it is creating, it's really big. And I'm hoping that coming, it's just that we got the information a little bit late, because we'll be having the premiere for Decoded on Saturday the 27th.
Right.
Wish we had this information earlier. I do not see any reason why Mr. Agwagibe wouldn't have put this on the billboard in front of the premiere. But definitely it is still not late. By God's grace, it might be mentioned. But even if not, we are very happy with the impact that she is creating, and it is already going viral and worldwide.
Right. I'm going to ask you this last question, Kenneth. You're one of those people who have stood up to organize the film industry in Cameroon. And now we are making this discovery. I should say it's going to be an asset to the industry. So do you have plans of maybe contacting this Cameroonian actress in India and letting her know that back home there is a growing film industry, so that in any way she thinks she can contribute, she'll definitely go ahead and do it?
Definitely. We'll try to contact her. We'll try to talk to her. Whichever questions she wants us to answer, we're going to answer. Whichever route she thinks that it will be good for us to follow, we are going to follow. We'll definitely have to do everything humanly possible to contact her and talk with her, introduce ourselves to her, show her, tell her about the Cameroon film industry, show her our various sites, show her what we have done so far, show her what we are doing right now, and show her what we are intending to do in the future. And we know that with somebody like her, with the connections that she has now, with the connection, the kind of people that she works with, she can be able to give us one or two advices that can help us to continue to grow our industry. So definitely she will be a very great contact point for us, because we know she's very resourceful for our continuous success.
And what about a collaboration between the Cameroon film industry and Bollywood? Would that be a welcome initiative?
You got it, Mr. Ernest Kanjo. That is definitely what we are looking at. We are looking at working with credible people like Bollywood. I bet you, for example, if there is a collaboration today between CFI, the Cameroon film industry, and Bollywood, then what else it is that we need to be able to build ourselves in the limelight? Because definitely they will see our talent, they will discover our talent, they will know our talent, our knowledge, and our skill, and they will know that they are dealing with the right people. And we know that with that collaboration, then Cameroon film industry has made it.
Kenneth, thank you so much for breaking this down for us as an expert in the domain. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ernest Kanjo. It's always a pleasure. And once more again, I will say, Anselmo, continue, monsieur.
Anselmo, continue, monsieur. His name is Kenneth Ngamne. Kenneth is an actor, he's a writer, he is a producer, and of course he's an expert in this domain. Reason why we brought him to make a comment on this new discovery. Charlene Quinn is her name. She's Cameroonian. She's making a breakthrough in the Indian film industry. Call it Bollywood. African Cocktail coming to from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. For those of you just joining us, you are welcome. This beautiful piece by Ngale Jojo makes a lot of sense to my very good friend Ken Shalimonette, who is a resource person on this show, just like it makes a lot of sense to my very good friend in Johannesburg, South Africa. His name is Solomon Atta. Solomon is our man in that part of the world, and Solomon is right here with us this day to give us the updates from South Africa. He is in Johannesburg. Welcome to On Board. Welcome to the show, Solomon.
Thank you very much, Ernest, and welcome to you and your listeners to Johannesburg, the city of gold. Ernest, it's a wonderful day out here, which has just been dampened by, I'm sure some of your listeners would have heard about sad news of victims of a collapsed church in Nigeria, which happened just under 2 weeks ago. Some or all of the victims have now been brought back to South Africa under the supervision of the Presidency of the Republic. So there was a chartered aircraft that brought back all the wounded victims. I have to indicate, Ernest, to you and the listeners that most of those that died in that tragic accident, that collapsed building at the Church of All Nations, are still in Nigeria because identification process is still underway. So, but that is just the damper, and as otherwise, it's a wonderful day here with a lot of exciting news to report. Ernest?
As exciting as the Heritage Day which took place yesterday in South Africa, Solomon. So, how did it go?
Ernest, yesterday was the South African National Heritage Day. This is a very special day on the national calendar in this country, and I have to say, because it is an opportunity for everyone to dress up in their own traditional or cultural regalia and all sorts of attire. More so, Ernest, it is also an unofficial National Bride Day, which is what you know as the barbecue in the United States. So everyone, all the parks, the public spaces were filled with people, bride, which is doing a barbecue and sharing a beer or two with friends, and it was a very cheerful day. More importantly, and as the politicians, government officials, and civil society were all out and about in colorful dressing, making very key speeches, top amongst whom was the Deputy President of the Republic, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, who spoke at length about the fact that we are such a diverse yet very, very unified country. So, but also the talk shows and the radio airwaves have been bombarded with how culturally connected we are as a nation, which was also an opportunity to take stock in terms of how far we have come as a national festival of partying and celebration. But more importantly, people were encouraged to be able to have an opportunity to remember their culture, to speak at least one of the 11 national languages or more than one. So it was a big party, public party day here, and some of the people who went to work today, who call into radio stations, complained that they were a bit tired, I guess, from the festivities. Ernest?
I like the "we are so diverse yet so united" message there. That is what Africa is all about, Solomon. I know we cannot talk South Africa without talking entertainment. So, how is the industry doing there, Solomon?
And it is a wonderful place to start a party, especially in Johannesburg. This weekend, the Soweto Festival opens its door on the 26th to the 28th of September at the Joburg Expo Center in Nasrec.
Right.
It's a family day. In fact, some have already indicated that it is a continuation of the National Heritage Day which took place yesterday. So the Soweto Festival is in its 9th consecutive year, and it will be happening, bringing together family entertainment, all sorts, gospel, pop, Afro chic, everything that you can imagine, even including some fashion shows. And so it will be a big weekend out for the entire family. And I have to indicate that this festival is one of the most celebrated indoor festivals in the Republic of South Africa.
Okay, Solomon, there is one young Cameroonian making big news out there in South Africa. She is an award-winning artist whom I know so well because I've had a couple of opportunities to interview. Now in South Africa, Zinia, I hear, is making news. So what's up with Zinia this time, Solomon?
And then that is absolutely correct. We have an exclusive only on African Cocktail next week when we will speak to Cameroonian-born, South Africa-based artist Zinia, who has just released one of her hottest singles called Where Is They, which is making the airwaves, especially also online on video distribution channel. So we will be speaking exclusively to Zinia next week on African Cocktail. So don't miss all your listeners should tune in next week to listen. And this single has already hit more than 1,000 views under 2 days. And so it's going to be an absolute pleasure to be speaking to Zinia, and she's going to launch our live interviews that will start next week.
Just to say that Zinia will move onwards to Bamenda, Cameroon to present a show that will probably be next month. But before she goes to Cameroon for that, she will be one of our guests on this show, speaking live from South Africa with our man Solomon Atta. Solomon, it's a bright day here in the city of Columbus. Is that the case down there in Johannesburg? I know you are getting very close to the evening out there.
Indeed, Ernest, it is a wonderful day, not a cloud in the sky. It's been a very warm day. I think we had heights of about 24 degrees centigrade. It is an absolute day to be out on the beach or at the dam, because in the city of gold there are no beaches, but it would be a wonderful day to be in a park and to have a drive around the scenic route. And that's it for this week. I shall be speaking to you next week again from Johannesburg when I speak to Cameroonian-born artist Zinia before she makes her way to Cameroon. Thank you.
And from the Diamond City, Johannesburg, we've just had Solomon Atta. Solomon, thank you so much, and we hope to have you again next week for yet another contribution from that end. Beautiful contribution, of course. I know that has been your hallmark. Okay, let's listen to music, then we'll be right back. Hey, the male voice is that of Ebana Manfred, and the female voice is that of Villa Vienne. We are back in the 70s in that beautiful one titled Sister Muna. Beautiful Makosa piece coming to you from Central Africa. We are still in Cameroon, and of course the show is African Cocktail with Ernest Kanjo. This day, September the 25th, 2014. I just want to say good afternoon to all my friends listening to the show in Douala, Cameroon. And from Douala, Cameroon, we shall be listening to Ifana Kwara, who is our Central African correspondent. That will be right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail. And we hear Ifana will have a guest with whom she will be talking live. Okay. Let's move back to the city of Antwerp in Belgium, where our main guest, Addy Timany, is back on the line. Welcome back, Timany.
Thank you, Ernest. It's my pleasure.
And so, we're talking about music just before we had other guests in this edition of the show. So, did you say November is when we're going to have this new stuff?
Yes, on Saturday the 1st of November, the album is going to drop.
Saturday the 1st of November. Okay, that's been noted down.
Yes.
Okay, apart from music, you also do movies. You are an actress. Could you just tell us how this relationship began, and for how long has it been existing?
Yes. Generally, I love to perform. I love singing. I love dancing. I love acting. So I think my love for music and my involvement in music propelled me, to getting into acting so easily. I started way back in 2005.
Right.
Yes. I did Culture Shock by now Triumph Abigail, who is based in the U.S. That was for CITV. So I did Culture Shock. And then I went to Douala, did some sitcoms for STV.
Right.
Yes, that was aired on Lulu Efange's Good Morning Cameroon most of the times. The late Lulu Efange.
Right.
Yes, and then may her soul rest in peace. I moved to, I did a movie with Cycle of Trauma with titled, Fu Ebenezer. Yes. Cycle of Trauma by Fu Ebenezer, and then I did the Blues Kingdom in Manfred by Agbo Gilbert.
Right.
Yes, before moving to Europe. When I got here, I did Critical Point. I featured in Critical Point by Can Quintus, Crush produced by Mero. I also did Confused Bachelor by Simon Sima in Holland. And then I moved to Sweden, where I did Illegal Immigrants by Jeanette Agbo.
Right.
Yeah, that has been my journey so far.
Okay, we are going to talk about illegal immigrants because it's the most recent, but let me take you a little bit behind. First with Fu Ebenezer. Fu Ebenezer is considered as one of the pioneers, at least for this new generation of young filmmakers from English-speaking Cameroon. How was your experience working with him?
Well, I had a fantastic time working with Fu Ebenezer. He actually watched my sitcoms on STV, and then he called me for an audition. I got auditioned, and I got the lead role. So working on that set was so challenging. I had to get mad in the movie. I had to do a whole lot of things. I mean, those are the early days. It really made me go through, brought out the things that, I don't know how to put it, brought me out of my comfort zone. Gave me the challenges that I love to do in movies, so it was so much fun for me. I had to wound my leg, running as a mad woman in the street, and at that time people were still looking at this, not really believing in what we were doing, so we had to break a lot of barriers, and by the grace of God we are where we are today.
Right.
So I thank that big brother.
I would also imagine that one of your challenges in movies as well is The Blues Kingdom, produced by Agbo Gilbert, also starring Ivan Name and Clarence Chukura. I remember I covered the premiere of that film at the Hilton Hotel in Yaoundé. That was way back in 2007. Could you just tell us about the experience you had in this movie?
Yes. Funny enough, in that movie I featured, and I never said a word in the movie. I was an attendant to the Queen, Clarence Chukura at the time. So she was the Queen mother, so I had to just stand by her like one of the attendants. She would even make fun with me and say, "Oh, you don't worry."
Right.
We would chat and, "Oh, you don't worry, my girl." I know of a main actor in Nigeria who became so famous and he never even said the word in the movie that he did. So just do what you're doing and do it well, because you never know where it will land you tomorrow.
Right.
She kept on encouraging me, and by the grace of God, here I am.
And that should have been the first time you were featuring in a movie with an A-list actor, I guess.
Yes, it was so much fun. It was really great. There was also Zach Oji on that set.
Right.
Yes, though I think the DOP was from Nigeria, and the whole ambiance was so great. You had a lot of people in Manfe coming to see the actors. It was so fantastic working with them because they are very down-to-earth people, and you could relate with them. People that you watch on screen, you think it's so difficult to get to those people, and when you meet them, you guys are like friends, and it was really, really fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you moved over to Europe, you got into so many other productions, notably the one you did recently with Agbo Janet, Illegal Immigrants. How did they get you on this project?
Yes, Jeanette actually contacted me on Facebook. She wrote to me that she had heard about, the things I have done so far. She was really impressed, and she wanted me to feature in her movie, Illegal Immigrants. So I was good to go with the idea, and she did everything. I went over to Sweden, and we did the movie, and it was a very great production, to be honest with you. It's like the biggest production I have done so far. She's a brave lady. She's a brave lady.
So, what character are you playing in this movie?
Yeah, I played the character of Vanessa. Vanessa works for a drug baron.
Okay.
Yeah, so after school we are stranded and we try to find a way. Life is so unbearable, It just explains the ordeals that students go through in the Western world when their stay expires, and then they have to do a lot of things to survive. They are exploited left and right. So I had to go through all of those things with Jeanette herself, who acted in the movie. So we were working for a drug baron. He would exploit us. And a lot of things will unfold when you watch the movie. You'll get, to better when it comes out.
Was it an exciting experience working with the crew and the rest of the cast?
Yes, it was very, very exciting. You cannot believe the DOP came from Spain. Iffy Boy Evans, he came from Spain. There are other actors who came from Germany, 2 Nigerian guys. And then you had a whole lot of actors. There is also Eric, who has been acting in Hollywood for some time before moving to Swedish, a Swedish guy.
Right.
Before moving to Sweden, sorry. So it had a whole lot of international cast, and everybody brought in their own little experience, and it was so wonderful.
Okay, Addy Timany, thank you so much. We'll come back to you just right ahead in this edition of the show.
Thank you so much, Ernest. My pleasure.
And for those of you just joining us, this is the 67th episode of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio this day, September the 25th, 2014. We are exceptionally running the show on a Thursday because we were unavoidably absent yesterday. So, is your car problems giving you sleepless nights? Stop thinking about your car maintenance. Oil change, tune-ups, tires, and many more. Cast your car burdens onto Quality Auto Services. Quality Auto Services provides full-time engine servicing, repairs and replacements, complete auto maintenance, oil change, tire change, and rotations. Auto Quality Services is specialist in all cars. Bring your car to 5599 Westerville Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081. I take it again, 5599 Westerville Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081. Then Auto Services or Quality Auto Services happens every day, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Then call 614-446-0773 or you just do a walk-in. 614-446-0773. Walk-ins are accepted. Then at Quality Auto Services, we simply say you will smile. A blend of beautiful voices there, Villa Vienne and Ebanda Manfred in that beautiful one titled Sister Mona. It was done way back in the 70s. And of course, for those of you just joining us, this is the 67th episode of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio with your midweek friend Ernest Kanjo. And of course, I want to say good afternoon to all my friends who are listening to me from Douala, Cameroon. And it is from Douala, Cameroon that we are going to get our correspondent Ifana Kwala. Ifana is with a special guest in this edition of the show. So, there we go. Ifana, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Ernest, and listeners of African Cocktail. Welcome to Central Africa and precisely Douala. It is a sunny day in Douala as the rains are fast disappearing. With me today, Ernest, is an upcoming Cameroon actress, Addy Timany. But before I interview Ayok, I would like to give you a little light on a peace concert that took place in Yaoundé during the weekend. To commemorate the International Day of Peace that is celebrated every 21st of September, Masterpiece Cameroon, together with Inspire Africa and SOA, organized a concert in Yaoundé under the theme Creating Peace Together. together. Artists present at this concert were Ada, DJ Chooks, Daddy Black, Yomo, and many upcoming artists. It was a great event as the piece was preached through songs. Ada said, music is one of the greatest voices you can ever hear everywhere in the world. And now, Ernest, let's talk to Ayo. Hello. So how are you feeling today, Addy? Very bright, healthy, happy. Okay. So who is attended by Ayo? Well, I would say Ayok is a 31-year-old woman with a master's degree in human resource management who loves acting. Wow, you have a lot of talent. So when did you start acting? I started acting when I was a toddler. Wow. Yes, I can remember the role I played. I was an Egyptian princess, the black among the whites. I was schooling in Leamington Spa, England, and I played the role of an African princess. I was so happy. You can't imagine. I have the pictures up to you. Wow, that's interesting. So you started acting from stage play? Yes, I did. So what inspired you to get into acting? I've always loved showbiz. As I said, from a tender age. I loved ballet, I loved opera, I loved singing, I loved acting. My parents always said if I were in America or England, they know for sure that I would have been in showbiz. Okay, you're not going behind the camera. In front. Okay, in front of the camera. Okay, that's fine. So what was your first movie experience? Well, my first movie experience was Pink Poison in 2011. Okay. I was lucky to be available when the doctor who was to play one of the last scenes in Pink Poison was unavailable. So I was just pushed in. I was willing, I was ready, and I did the act for my first time. So somebody's disappointment was your appointment. Exactly. So how was the experience? How did you feel like? I was a bit nervous before going on set. I tried to talk with the director to be sure that I was going to deliver what he expected. The director was Deborah Lawrence. It was an age production. And after I did my little role in Pink Poison, he gave me a head shake and said, that was really good for the first time. Wow, that's interesting. So, being in the Cameroon movie industry, what is your appreciation of the Cameroon film industry? The Cameroon film industry has a lot of talent. If we just had the exposure, the finance, the discipline, the means, we are going to explode. But the problem now that we face, I think, majorly, is the absence of finance. Okay. So what do you think we can do together to make this Cameroon film industry a big thing, like Bollywood, Hollywood, and the other woods we hear? Well, initially, I would think that we should have tried to change the government perspective on what filmmaking should be in Cameroon. But after being in the industry and talking with actors and actresses and people who have lived in the industry for years on end, I think that we have to really put in more of a personal effort and rely on our private sector, because the private sector makes more money and they are more willing to risk in order to gain. The government is not willing to risk because they have nothing to gain, and even if they do risk, they don't really lose anything if the money doesn't fulfill its function. So I think that we can rely more on the private sector, even though it is difficult. But with unity and a bit of discipline, I think we can make it through. So what you're telling us is people in the private sector should get involved in the movie industry, produce movies, buy the movies. Buying is the main thing. Cameroonians should love their product. If we get the habit of saying, I will buy this thing just because it's from Cameroon, things are going to go a long way. We need to have our local stations want to show our movies, not us begging them to or having to pay them to. The CD sells at the meager sum of 1,000 francs in Cameroon. People buy foreign products for so much more. They buy foreign CDs for so much more. People can just love our country and say, even if it's just to promote this industry, let me buy this CD. We shall go a long way. So apart from acting, what else do you do? Well, I'm a housewife, and I also work as the human resource at Brooks and Blake, Cameroon, which is a public relations agency. I should be a successful woman. So what is the story, the secret behind your success? Prayers and truthfulness to myself. I am somebody very strong against corruption, and I don't care to say it or stand up for it wherever I am. That's why I won't join politics. You may not be a politician because I can't tell a lie. But you can play the role of a politician in a movie. Of course, that's fine. So how do you spend your leisure time? I watch movies. I go around the house doing one or two things, and I try to spend as much time as I can with my kids, talking to them and understanding them. Okay, that's interesting. So what's your favorite color? Red. Red. Why red? I think red stands out on me especially, and it portrays a vibrant love, a passion for something, the romantic side. Well, I think I can say so. Okay, that's interesting. Now your favorite food? Spaghetti and chicken. Spaghetti and chicken. Yes, you find that with your kids. Yes, they also have an animal there. Yes, sure, they should love that. So tell us about your family. My husband is a chartered accountant. He works with Oil, which is a petroleum company here in Cameroon. I have 4 kids. The first is 10. The last is turning 2 today. 3 years old today. Oh, so today is his birthday. Yes. Can you shout out a happy birthday for him? Happy birthday, Dylan. Mommy loves you so much. That's interesting. So, talking about your husband, how does he take this music thing? Maybe you hugging, kissing, getting married to somebody on set? How does he look at that? Well, to answer this question, I must say, Agbobi the debate, I owe you a big thanks. Okay? Without Agbobi the debate, I won't be doing movies in Cameroon. My husband was so against. When I got to the university, I had the opportunity to join Flash Network, which was one of the first movie making companies that came to Cameroon at that time. He wouldn't hear of it. It was a choice, film or me. Okay? And I was like, well, this film issue is not as if it's going to pay me millions. So I chose my life. But when age came into the picture, he became exposed to many things. He came to understand that all what you see on TV is not actually the way it happens in front of the camera. So now he's more accepting, he's more open. I still don't know how he reacts to me kissing somebody because it hasn't happened, but at least he's more open and he's accepting and very supportive. That's interesting. You know, many people think that because you see a lady on set and doing all these things, she's just a very careless woman, but I know very responsible women who actually act and they don't do all the things you see them do. So what's your most embarrassing moment? Well, I think my most embarrassing moment was during my court wedding, okay, when I had to kiss my husband in front of my parents for the first time. I must say that I loved kissing him, but that day I almost turned my cheek. I was so embarrassed. Yes, I always think of that all the time, like kissing your husband in front of your parents. Really difficult. Yes. So, any other projects in the pipeline? For now, more movie acting. I'm thinking seriously about embarking on a distribution network for Cameroon films, but I'm still doing underground studies. I really want to embark on that to help my industry. And I I'm still going to have more peace. All the producers out there, and basically doing something like a scale proprietorship where I'll be my own boss, make money on my own, and help other people. That's interesting. You're really a hardworking woman. And this thing about being what did you say? There's something you want to do? A distributor. That's a great project. If everybody who loves the Cameroon movie industry thinks like you, believe me, you're going to go places. Amen. Amen to that. So if there's somebody out there who's a fan, who's looking at like, I want to be like this, one more to your fan. I love you all. Appreciate me. Forgive my mistakes, and please don't think I'm perfect. I can always learn. Yeah. And I can learn from you today that sometimes you need to choose family too. Of course, once you make family your priority and you make it known, everybody respects your values, no matter what. Okay. And the dreams to come with the family. Of course, and I always make it count. Ernest, are you with us?
Yes, and I would definitely have a question for your guests, with your permission, Ifana.
Okay.
Okay, Atem Ebai Ayuk. Now, you're one of those who are quite involved in the reorganization of the Cameroon film industry, even if it's at the perspective of an actress whom you are. Now, do you have any problem with foreign actors featuring in typically Cameroonian productions like stars, while you are doing a supporting role? Do you have any problem with that?
Yes, I do have a problem. Initially, when Splash Network came, we needed people like Jack Eddy who sacrificed their time, talent to come and boost us up. But now, I think that we have actors amidst ourselves who we can pick out and choose to use as our main, promote their faces so much so that they become our main, and any other supporting actress like me can use them now to gain fame.
Now, you just mentioned Jack. Hello? Are you getting me? Right. So, if I can recall, one of the first movies that had Nigerian actors in Cameroon was way back in 2003. Now we are in 2014. 11 years. 11 years gone. Yet we still don't have those faces which we think should project the industry. Does that make you feel a little disturbed, Ayuk? Hello? Are you getting me? Right. So, if I can recall, one of the first movies that had Nigerian actors in Cameroon was way back in 2003. Now we are in 2014. 11 years. 11 years gone. Yet we still don't have those faces which we think should project the industry. Does that make you feel a little disturbed, Ayuk?
No, I can say this without any doubt. Just today, I'm making a space, and other supporting actors and actresses like me, act beside him in order to gain fame. We are going to sell our market. We are going to make our Cameroonians know this space. Hey, this is just a bullet. I'm buying this film, definitely. And from then they start knowing us. It trickles down. But since we don't have faces, we always have to go out growing faces, Ghanaians and Nigerians. And honestly, for the 3 years in which I've been in this industry, I've not seen it boost our market.
And what are you doing as actors to make sure that this option is taken into consideration?
We are trying to put together a stronger Cameroon Actors Guild, which is going to respect constitution, bylaws, rules, and above all, try and wipe away the mentality of corruption, the mentality that to serve is today. We want to instill a mentality of to serve is sacrifice.
Ifana, that's all I got for your guess.
Okay, Ernest.
Yes, Ifana.
Ernest, yes. I think maybe we should bring one of these days. We should bring Jeffrey Epule online and talk to him too, because everybody's talking about him.
Okay, that would be fantastic, Ifana. Okay. Meanwhile, I understand that you girls are bracing for a film premiere this weekend. How are you preparing for that? Especially Ayo, who is quite involved in the domain.
Yes, you can say that again. Our PR agency is the one on head organizing this premiere alongside its production.
Right.
And we must say I'm excited personally, not only as a professional but also as an artist. I'm excited because she has invested and sacrificed so much to make this premiere what it should really be. In her own words, she wants Cameroon movies to be identified with class, with elegance, with authenticity, not just local jargon.
Right. Okay, Ifana.
Yes, Ernest. I sure will be there. I will be at the premiere and I will tell you everything that is happening over there. And all the listeners of African Cocktails, you will get the details.
Okay, she is our eye out there in Central Africa. And of course, she was talking from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Ifana, thank you so much. We hope to have you again next week for yet another contribution from that end. And for those of you who have just joined us, we are doing the last quarter of this edition of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo this day, September the 25th, 2014. I just want to say good afternoon to all the people who make up the Cameroon film industry, young and dynamic people who have ambitions of taking this industry to greater heights. Let's listen to some music, then we'll move back to Belgium, precisely in Antwerp, and have the last segment of our conversation with our main guest. His name is Sam Mbede. He used to be a music administrator. He lives in Belgium, and of course it is in Belgium that we have our main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Her name is Addy Timany. She is a gospel artist, and of course she is an actress. African Cocktail coming to Africa region. Exactly 10 minutes to midday. We now welcome back our main guest. Addy, welcome back.
Thank you, Ernest.
So tell me, what makes you a good actress?
Wow. What makes me a good actress? I believe it is the feedback that I get from people, the encouragement that I get from people. They tell me that I am able to connect well with the audience. I am able to interpret my role very well, you know. So I try to fit myself into every role that I play so well. I put myself into that character.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you've been on movie sets back in Cameroon, and you've done same. You've done same in Europe. Could you just tell us the difference between these two environments, these two working environments?
Yes, there is definitely a very big, huge difference when it comes to doing movies in Cameroon and doing movies in Europe, you know, in the Western world in general.
Right.
We have a lot of limitations this way. Getting locations, getting the right place, in fact, the right people to, you know, invest in these things. It's very different. People back home know what it is all about. People are willing to sacrifice and give you homes or their places to use. But here you have to break through a lot of barriers. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a lot of limitations, but we are hoping that things will get better, and then we'll make a statement.
Okay, things will definitely get better. So what ambitions do you have in this art?
Yeah, I hope to, in fact, really get to the height of everything. I hope to reach out to as many people as possible. I believe that in the nearest future, the industry is going to be very competitive. You know, it's going to be very, very well structured. We are going to make a statement, just like Nollywood has made, Ghanaian movie industry has made. So I think we will get better in the nearest future.
Right. And do you have some people you look up to as role models in acting?
Definitely. I look up to a whole lot of people when it comes to acting. There are so many in the African, you know, movie industry. We have them in Nigeria, Genevieve Naji. You have, say, Ikpe Etim. In Cameroon, we have so many. We have, like a big brother, Kenneth Gamner. He's an inspiration to me. I look up to, there's a lot of people that I really, I'm proud of. And I believe that with working with this kind of people, we will push this industry to the heights that it deserves.
Right.
So we have, back home, we have Ipule Jeffrey, Solange Jika. I am proud of all of those people, Desmond White. The list is endless.
And of course, Ebai Atem Ayuk, whom we listened to a while ago, and she was trying to explain what they are doing to make sure that this industry is reorganized. And also earlier on in the show, I and Kenneth were talking about this young Cameroonian who is making a breakthrough in Bollywood. Now, does that have any meaning to you? Does that tell you that Cameroon is, coming up powerfully?
Of course, I have been listening to the show the whole time this afternoon. I was really marveled getting to know that a fellow Cameroonian sister is featuring or doing movies in Bollywood with the culture and everything. It's just a big message that this is sending out to the world, that we are going to go places. We have the raw talent. We just need the exposure. And we have all it takes to stand out. We have all it takes to even meet Hollywood. Why not? So, yeah.
Now, definitely we have so much, Cameroon has so much, but there should be something lacking somewhere which is kind of delaying this progress. What do you think that thing is?
Yes, there's a lot of internal things that I have seen from my own little angle that are going on. We just need to have the spirit of oneness, like the way Nigerians have. We just need to, there's a lot of division, there's a lot of factions, you know. Let us just come together and do things as one. So, to me, that is the main thing that can really make us break through. Because we cannot do so in factions. We cannot do so with the little things that are going on, negative things and negative spirit and all of that. We need to come together as one and come up with some few big things, you know, just like the way Ghanaians did.
Right.
With the Nadia Buhari and Jackie Appiah and Van Vika. They came out powerfully as a team, and that it has brought them so far. the Ghanaian movie industry is something to write home about today. So we can do same.
Addy, I've always believed that giving credit to whom it is due is something we should do. A while ago, our Douala guest made mention of Agbo Gibet, Ebo, and you also told me that you featured in his, that was his second movie way back in 2006, 2007.
Yes.
What do you make of this gentleman?
This gentleman is really doing a lot, to put this industry in the limelight. Let us be honest. And people need to get this kind of... He's breaking every barrier. I respect what he does because he's not limited. He has made us to be known out there in Nigeria and in other places. So I commend his efforts, and I pray that other people will follow suit. Because these are the kind of people that the industry needs. Yeah.
Addy, we can talk and talk endless, but we don't have so much time. I know apart from singing and acting, you should also have some skills. What other things do you do?
Yes, I write scripts as well. As a matter of fact, I'm just done with a script that I want to produce very soon. So I write scripts, I dance. There's so many other things that God has blessed me with, and that I cannot sit on these talents. Whatever God has laid in you, just use it, exploit it.
Okay, so we shall definitely come back to you when you are ready to translate the script into a film. So, what are your hobbies?
Well, my hobbies are definitely, I sing. I just like singing. I swim as well.
Right.
Read. Yeah.
And And if someone has to be your friend and propose something other than the traditional delicacy you and I talked about a while ago, what would they give you? So apart from your traditional delicacy from your part of Cameroon, what else do you
Cameroon
eat?
is blessed with a lot of delicacies, a lot of dishes.
Right.
There's so many good food out there. There is eru, there is achu, there is ekwang, there is koki, conch. In fact, I don't have it. In fact, I'm not limited when it comes to those things. Anything that tastes good,
right,
I will consume. Yeah.
Okay, we're about to end off this conversation, Addy. There are some young Cameroonian girls out there, African girls, listening to you at this moment. Some of them have been inspired so far, and they would normally love to become like you. What advice do you have for them?
Well, what I have to tell them is this, that don't come into the industry because of fame or because, you just want to be known and the glamour and everything. Come because you have the passion. Come because you have something to offer, and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and don't be fooled that you can just do anything to pave your way or to get through. Believe in the talent that you have, and no matter how long it takes, you will get to the brim. Stand the test of time. It's very challenging. It's not even easy. We have not even got to the top yet, but we keep going. So it's a long road of challenges and so many things, but it's just the passion that keeps us going. Have the passion for what you want to do, and you will succeed. Why not? Better than me, and
have
just believe in yourself.
Have a passion in what you like to do, and you definitely succeed. Believe in yourself, and it's just a matter of time. You'll get to the brim. The voice of Addy Timany there, rounding off this edition of African Cocktail. Addy, I want to thank you so much.
The pleasure was mine, Ernest. I am very grateful for this time that you have given me, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, and we hope that when next we knock at your door, you will open it for us.
Anytime, any day. I'm very willing. Thank you too.
Right, she says it anytime, any day. Just like African Cocktail would give you the best every week. We are back next Wednesday for yet another vibrant edition of the show. And at exactly 1 minute to 12, we put a full stop to this 67th episode of your darling show this day, September the 25th, 2014. It was a big and dynamic team as usual that kept you company this bright Thursday afternoon here in the city of Columbus, the state of Ohio, United States of America. So we had African kitchen manager Susan A, Belgium correspondent, Titus Banyo, Germany correspondent Maxel Adik, South Africa correspondent Solomon Atta, Central African correspondent Ifana Kwalar, who spoke from Douala, African Tele Review, Crystal Beauty, resource person number 1, Ken Shali Monet, resource person number 2, Suleiman Koyate, whom we had earlier on in this show, resource person number 3, Matthew Ayon, content critic, The White Bokery, production collaboration, Crystal Beauty, African Cocktail online banner, Ajik Maxel, Bo Boateng, special guest, Atem Ebai Ayub, main guest, Addy Timany, collaboration, Big Joe, Gentle, Awal Mohammed, DJ Cash, Mayo Makinde, Saran KK, coordination, Nana Ampem, Davis Odeneyo Apia. My name is Ernest Kanjo, regular host of the show, asking you to join me again next Wednesday for yet another vibrant edition of African Cocktail. And until we meet then, it is bye-bye, ciao, au revoir, merci, see you, I'm gone. Then to God be the glory.